Here's more wrestling news for April 7th, 2023, and we're starting off with WrestleMania, and in the run-up to Night 1, there was a discussion as to whether the SmackDown Women's title match should headline, or if the emotional weight of Sami Zayn's story with the Bloodline should take the main event. In the end, WWE went with the undisputed WWE Tag title match, which many believe was the right call, but not everyone was thrilled. Speaking with his co-host Conrad Thompson, Ric Flair said that he thinks WWE got things wrong by not picking his daughter Charlotte's match with Rhea Ripley, and explained why. He said, "We're talking about what I think should personally happen in the promotion. There's no way that Sami and KO and the Usos would go on after Ashley and Rhea, no way. Only in the WWE." Conrad says that he thinks that the Usos and KO and Sami had the better story. That's not the point. We're talking about a single championship from a girl that won the Royal Rumble. Why are we just breaking tradition for just one night? For what? Why are we breaking tradition for one night? Now, it's worth mentioning that several WrestleManias have ended without a singles title match, including WrestleMania 26 with Shawn Michaels vs. The Undertaker and The Rock vs. John Cena from 2 years later. Had Charlotte headlined Night 1, she would have become the first woman to headline multiple WrestleManias. And do you agree with Ric's assertion? Or did WWE get it right for their pick of the main event? This week, AEW hosted their second episode of AEW All Access, and fans tuned in will have noticed a familiar face despite the company's best efforts. In one clip, Sammy Guevara could be seen speaking to somebody backstage, and while the man's face was blurred, fans immediately recognized that it was William Regal. Regal was with AEW from March 2022 to December, but was granted his requested release so that he could return to NXT and be closer to his son, NXT superstar Charlie Dempsey. Given that the show is about being all access, there's some irony to AEW censoring Regal's face, and we imagine AEW will be picking their backstage footage carefully to avoid the British legend. More from AEW, as this week's Dynamite was the first show after the WWE Endeavor deal was announced, and as you'd expect, people had things to say. After the show went off the air, Tony Khan was in the ring with the new AEW World Tag Team Champions FTR, and there was an interesting sign that was brought into the ring. During the celebration, Dax Harwood saw a sign that read "Vince Fears Tony," complete with an image of Khan holding McMahon in a headlock. Harwood attempted to hand the sign over to Tony Khan in the ring, but the CEO declined the offer, no matter how dominant it made the AEW president look over his main rival. AEW fans have always disliked WWE for various reasons, including Vince McMahon's booking, and while Khan wanted no part of this sign after Dynamite, expect the AEW audience to make their voices heard about McMahon's return to influence in WWE. With FTR winning the AEW World Tag Team Championship this week, their victory puts to rest the idea that they were leaving AEW and planning a return to WWE. During the team's break from AEW, which began last December, it was suspected that Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler would be leaving, so why exactly did they choose not to? On Twitter, one fan guaranteed that the only reason why FTR won the titles this week is because they threatened to return to WWE if they didn't, which got a response from both team members. Cash Wheeler was the first to respond, sarcastically asking the fan, "Who told you?" Well, Dax Harwood found the idea that this threat would work to be ridiculous. Harwood clarified that AEW had a better schedule for them, as WWE's schedule would have kept him away from his wife and daughter too much, and believes that they will be able to give back to wrestling more in AEW. While Harwood had said on his podcast that he and Cash were open to working with Triple H again, he also said in January that Vince McMahon's return was giving the team second thoughts. And given what we've seen over the past week, it's probably for the best that FTR stick with AEW. Since arriving in WWE, Logan Paul has impressed fans with his skills in the ring, but the YouTuber was making his name in combat sports long before he signed a contract last year. Not only has Logan Paul competed in boxing, even facing off with Floyd Mayweather, but the Maverick has expressed interest in competing in the world of UFC. Speaking to BT Sport this month, Paul addressed his big plans and said that he one day hopes to be a triple champion across UFC, WWE, and boxing. He said, "There was a part of me that really wanted to become a WWE champion, a UFC champion, and a boxing champion. That feels impossible, and it'll probably never be done ever. But if I just decided to, really decided to, something tells me I could probably do it. What are we chasing here? The answer would be legacy. So how important is that to me to be remembered forever if I become a triple champ in 3 different industries? While this situation seems impossible, the fact that WWE and UFC will soon be in the same company has had fans believing that some crossover could happen between the 2 entities. Paul has said that he has no job with WWE anymore, as his contract with the company expired after WrestleMania 39, and if he does make a return to WWE, time will tell if his lofty dreams become a reality. Last month, Ronda Rousey addressed her 2022 feud with Liv Morgan, which many believe didn't live up to what it could have been, a belief Ronda shares. In a video on social media, Rousey blamed octogenarians in WWE creative who don't spend more than 5 minutes trying to write stories for women in a scathing attack by the former champion. Ronda Rousey is no stranger to fiery social media comments, and on his Storytime podcast, Dutch Mantell made his views clear on the Hot Rod's comments. He said, "I would like to have Ronda standing right in front of me right now, and I'd open a hand slap her. She came out earlier in the week and says that WWE with those octogenarians like the 80-year-old guys, they don't know what it's like to be hip in this, that, and the other, and I'm thinking, shut up, Ronda, you can't do it on your own, so listen to somebody. And the octogenarians, I think she was talking about Vince maybe, I don't know. There's nobody there that's 80, close to 80, except Vince." Rousey's booking as of late has been odd, as after the feud with Morgan, she entered a much criticized angle with Shotzi before taking months off after losing the SmackDown Women's title to Charlotte Flair. WWE at one point had bigger plans for Rousey at WrestleMania, but her arm injury meant she did very little during the Women's Showcase tag match. And what do you want to see next from the baddest woman on the planet? Now, Michael Cole is a true veteran of WWE, and last year marked 25 years since he began calling action for the company. Last weekend, Cole was on hand to call the action for Rey Mysterio's match with Dominik, and his commentary has caused the former War correspondent to go viral. In one spot of the match, Rey finally punished his son for his transgressions, whipping Dominik with his belt, and in a viral clip, Cole could be seen stood up with delight at the spot. In the clip, Cole can even be heard saying that Dominik deserved the spanking from his Hall of Fame dad, as the veteran commentator clearly had a blast calling the match, which had been months in the making. John Cena news next, as fans saw the 16-time WWE World Champion at WrestleMania, and fans will see him again as part of a new docu-series. Deadline reports that Cena will both star in and produce the upcoming series WWE Recruits for Roku, which will focus on the lives of wrestlers trying to make it to WWE. The show will also feature Triple H, Bianca Belair, Big E, and others, with footage for the show being filmed during WrestleMania weekend. And perhaps we'll see the next top star of WWE as a recruit. In WWE, certain wrestling moves are banned from being used, such as the pile driver, which was banned due to the significant risk of neck injury the move has. One move fans do get to see on TV is the Armbar, which is used by Ronda Rousey, but this move has a unique ban of its own. On the Oh You Didn't Know podcast, Road Dogg revealed that Asuka has been told that she can't use the armbar, and was instructed this after Rousey joined WWE in 2018. Rousey debuted in WWE immediately after Asuka won the first Women's Royal Rumble match, and not only did Ronda steal Asuka's thunder, as many have said she did, but she also took that move. When Brock Lesnar retained the Universal Championship at WrestleMania 34, the Beast Incarnate was far from being a happy camper. After the negative response to his match with Roman Reigns, Lesnar infamously threw the Universal title at Vince McMahon in gorilla position in a sign of disrespect at the title and the boss. Road Dogg Jesse James was sat next to the boss at the time, and on his podcast, he remembered Shane McMahon's explosive reaction to what transpired. On his Oh You Didn't Know podcast, Road Dogg said that Shane was hot and tried to go after Brock, and that it was James's responsibility to try and calm Shane down and tell him to keep our teeth. Speaking about the throw itself, Road Dogg said that Lesnar has good aim and he intended to hit Vince, and added that part of the title nearly caught him right in the face. Road Dogg concluded by saying that he doesn't know if the outburst from Lesnar was a work or not, but whatever it was enough to get Shane McMahon riled up and ready to throw down with the Beast Incarnate. From WrestleMania 34 to this year's Showcase of the Immortals, as last weekend's Hell in a Cell match featured a special introduction by Russell Crowe. In a promotion for his film The Pope's Exorcist, Crowe delivered a monologue that hyped up the match between Edge and the Demon Finn Balor, and the Gladiator star was impressed with what he saw. On Twitter, Crow praised the efforts of both Balor and Edge, saying that the pair had all the heart and drama of great pro wrestling. Crow also praised WWE for their efforts, and his tweet got a response from WWE Hall of Famer Beth Phoenix, who loved seeing Crow show respect to WWE, Balor, and her husband. WrestleMania 39 was in LA, so it made sense that there were some Hollywood names involved, and perhaps we'll see Crow show up again for WWE if he's called upon. And we're ending with Big E, who hasn't competed for WWE in over a year due to his neck injury, and this week, the former WWE champion opened up about his future in wrestling. Speaking with Pop Culture, Big E spoke about how he had been heavily involved with WWE's Next in Line program during his absence, and is pleased that he can help young athletes just as he was once helped out. In the interview, Big E explained that he could see him being an ambassador to WWE in this way for the long term if a return to wrestling never happens for the New Day star. Everybody is hopeful that Big E will wrestle again, but he has said that he is at peace with the possibility that his in-ring career is over. But no matter what, Big E brings a lot to WWE, who would be wise to keep him.